Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Chasing Dallas. This is season 6, episode 12, which is also the finale. We made it, y'all. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please show your support and like this video. And if you like what you're seeing, please go on and subscribe. And just get into everything that's going on over here and leave your comments below. Now let's get into this episode. Okay, so we start off the episode with Rio. Rio is having his event. It's a pop-up shop for his lip liner. He has Jet performing, and he performs his single that he did at the beginning of the season, Move in Silence, which I believe, well, that was a video release, I believe that was, but anyways, he performs, all that good stuff. Outside, of course, the people are gathering together. We see that Kelly has made it. We find out that Kelly was stuck in Orlando. Whatever all that means, we didn't really get into it. Kelly clocked something, at least in her confessional, and Rachel is trying to kind of hijack Rio's event outside by trying to promote her lip liner. Rachel, hi. To me, I feel like that is just unprofessional. And, I mean, get your own event. That's all I can say. And I do understand that you said that you don't have a job. I don't know what you could do. It would be best for you to start collabing with people or something to push your stuff, but you shouldn't be outside doing that. That's tacky. Mother shows up. She says that the event was starting late anyways. They were told to meet at 5, and then it became 5:30. I think she says that later. But anyways, Mother was like, look, we never can show up on time, blah, 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 blah. They get on Zesty, because Kelly wanted to know what happened at the last event for Rio's event. They're saying that Zesty is fluffing stories, meaning he is in the midst, and then he goes on and says something totally, completely different. But is he? There's a scene that's coming up that doesn't really confirm what you're saying, Mother. Mother says that when he goes back and misinterprets what was said, he can never come back to us and say what he actually said. But I've seen him do that, and then y'all really don't have much to say. But now trying to say, oh, well, he's doing this and da 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 da. So who's lying? Anyways, somehow, well, Zesty comes out and says, look, I'm standing on business and what I said, da 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 da, blah blah blah. Somehow Chloe gets involved, and then she brings out this clown string spray thing and starts spraying Zesty with it. Now Chloe said it was a stunt. She came there ready to do that since Zesty comes to everyone else's event and he clowns. Okay, but you don't even have no beef. And it would have been something if one of your events were actually crashed or whatever by Zesty. B, if you would have actually started a conversation, well, why do you always come up to everybody's event and you're being messy? You didn't, though. So it didn't make sense. And love Chloe down, but you wanted a moment. So then Zesty, in turn, pours his drink on Chloe. Next thing you know, we see Robert Bray, and he's taking up for Chloe. And says, you can't do this because Chloe is a woman. I respect gender. I respect all of that. And I understand the gender and all that stuff. Robert Bray and anyone else, you can't expect, if Chloe's going to step to a dude, don't act like the dude is not going to have anything to just... Chloe knows who she is. And everyone else should know who she is. And she should respect other people. If you want to fight, if you want to tussle, you want to do all this stuff, don't act like somebody's just going to sit there and take it. So keep all your fighting towards Rachel and not towards Zesty. Later on, I guess we find out what happened according to Mother. And I guess Zesty was supposed to come out to apologize to Chloe because they had a conversation. Zesty comes back out and gets security, according to them, according to Mother, and now saying, oh, this person's banned, that person's banned, da 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 da. Well, I didn't see nobody leave, so I guess that happened. But y'all can let me know, any of the cast that may watch. But I'm sorry, you get what you got, because if you're gonna give that, guess what? It's going to be returned back to you, no matter what the gender is. But again, you're sitting up here reprimanding Zesty. Robert, you call Chloe your daughter. How come you didn't go and get Chloe together? Nobody did there. Don't sit up here and act like got all this moral clause now, when Chloe started everything. So I don't care. I'm not disagreeing with what Zesty did to Chloe. It's a return serve. Let's see. So then Rico and Chloe, they have a conversation. Now, honestly, Chloe, I thought that your bark last season was going to have a better bite, or last episode, because Donnie was going to confront him, and then Chloe said, oh, I got this. But you didn't. You actually had a civilized conversation, which I think was cool. Rio. My bad. Is it Rico? Rio ended up, saying that I didn't realize that was going to be offensive. At this point, we're kind of like socialized to, for whatever reason, different heritage and different races and different cultures try to act like we're all the same. In a sense, yes. Some of the things that are done in the culture should not be repeated amongst other cultures and races. It happens a lot, though. But they had a cool, calm conversation, and Chloe was cool with it. I said, cool. I'm glad, because I thought that there was going to be a whole nother beef in regards to that. So, hey, she said it was insensitive and all that good stuff. Rio says that he gets it. At least he didn't know that it was going to be offensive because of, and we'll get into that a little bit more. So I'm kind of repeating myself. So, yeah. So then there's something between Donnie and Jet. I'm telling you. And the reason I go up for Jet, not because of his stardom or whatever, but Jet can always come back and say what was actually said, what was actually done, and then nobody has a rebuttal. But Jet is this puppeteer. Donnie was saying stuff, oh, we got a beef going on, blah, 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 you still talking your mouth, da, 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 da. Last episode. Now, we find out that Donnie sent somebody, an infiltrator, onto the show to try to confront Jet about something about not paying someone. And I'm like, wait. So Donnie, you ended up trying to get somebody else. You try to get somebody else to fight your battles. Later on, you're going to say that you did this because he sicked Rio and Zesty on him. No. Because for some reason, everybody forgets the first episode of this season and the second episode of this season. And we'll get into that a little bit more. I think that you are hypocritical yourself, and nobody's calling out your ish. Nobody's calling out your ish. Yeah, but that Jet does not pay for some of his, I guess, for a dance or whatever. We get a flashback scene, never before seen footage of that, and the dude was there to say that, or was supposed to be there to say that Jet is not paying his dancer, but ended up saying something about Donnie. Now Donnie's saying, well, we fell out. And then Jet said, well, he came around before even y'all fell out. And then Donnie had to cower it down like he always do, because now the truth is coming out. So that was weird. And I think that is whack and weak, Donnie, even though people keep calling you the star of the show. I mean, tricks are for kids. And if you can't do it on your own, don't send no extra on the show to do something that you should have done. But it just seems like it was something very convoluted, and you were just trying to start stuff, because now that things were dying down between you and Rio and you and Zesty, what am I going to do to keep me relevant on the show? Many will disagree with me because y'all done fell for the moon dust, as I'm calling it, because it's like, what the heck? what the hell is going on? Anyway, oh, Donnie wants a versus battle. They talk about it again. I'm gonna say this much because of a scene that you had later on, Donnie. You're saying that this is their last performance. You do a performance, you have a scene, and we'll just jump to that right now. You have this scene where you're performing at some type of competition show. And you lose, and you said that you're going to be working on your craft and all that and getting that together. Donnie, there's no denying that you have a talent. Do I think at this point that you're at Jeff's level? No. But what I see a trend that's going on with you. In order to get yourself out there, you're not riding off your talent, you're riding off a clout. And you admit that later. But however, you can only remain at that height for so long, and then you're going to completely fall flat. So you do need to get your ish together. You're in the door, and now you got... We'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, so... Lamont and Mother, they go sit and talk. And they talk about the whole Zesty event. And basically, Lamont is confirming that y'all were talking ish about Rio. Y'all are trying to say, oh, we were just kikiing. I don't understand about what kikiing and shade is. If you're saying, oh, it was all out of love, but y'all didn't even say that to Rio when he came out there and said, hey, da 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 da. Y'all just saying that Zesty's lying. But Lamont just said that, no. Y'all was talking about that chicken and saying, oh, it tastes like Wingstop. Who in the world at they function want to be told, or at least someone tells them that y'all sitting up here shading and trying to act like his food is not authentic? Then y'all talked about the desserts. I guess it came from Walmart. Y'all, and Rio did say, hey, you know, I wasn't really on the dessert thing. I was more the main course type deal and then the other foods and stuff. So in some type of way, y'all did try to shade him and make what he's doing less. You did try to down his business. And for some reason, y'all don't see that. And Mother don't see that. And somehow Zesty is lying. What else? Oh, Lamont is shooting his cologne commercial. And Mother. Y'all are so... Why does this happen? It happens a lot. Black people are offended and are the loudest. You should be loud and you should be offended. But how in the world can you be so offended about what happens to you and don't care how you offend other people and all that good stuff? Again, most of the black people on this cast were not as alarmed, I'll just say that much, when Donnie said what he said about deportation. But oh my God, now hell is coming to earth because of something that is done against them that they don't agree with. That's not cool. That's not cool. Yeah, that's when also Mother was talking about Robert wanted an apology for Chloe, and Zesty agreed to it, and then he comes out and flips the script on Robert. Possibly true, I don't know. That wasn't even confirmed in the chat last night, so I don't know what happened for real. All right, so Donnie, he does have his, he performs his single, I Don't Like. Kelly said he was doing good, but then he just started being repetitive in all of his lyrics and da-da-da-da-da. Lamont's cologne launch. Lamont said that he has a certain aesthetic as far as whom he uses as his models and all that good stuff and what he's going to... He has a certain market. Some people were kind of offended with that in the chat as I was reading. I mean, if that's what he's going for, cool. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, he's in the beauty market. And guess what? You got to look beautiful. You have to have a certain aesthetic if you're going to draw the attention and get people onto your brand and onto your products that you sell. I can't say that I'm mad at that. That's his business strategy to make dollars. Chloe talks about, yeah, I wanted to clown Zesty because he clowns everybody at their events. Kelly says, does he come and he messes up all events? I don't think that Zesty messes up every event. I think Zesty actually puts some spice on these events, or I don't think that a lot of these events would have popped off or even been filmed to air, just to let you know. Did it become too much Zesty? Yes, I can say that much. However, I believe it started out very innocent. You got a little shade off here and there, and it was cute. I think it was overloaded. Maybe because you saw how it was successful at this last event. Well, let me turn it up some more. And it ends up going a little bit too much Zesty. Let somebody else do something, even though nobody else was stepping up to the plate. Let's see. Chloe says that she buried the hatchet with Zesty. They had a conversation, but she does not like that hoe. Oh, but y'all have been doing that all season, acting like y'all cool and then getting in the confessionals and saying all this other stuff. Then there's a question about, do people hold Zesty accountable? Rio, do you hold them accountable for this? Da 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 da. And Rio is saying, yes, I do, because Mother was like, yes, I do. You shouldn't be doing this. Da 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 da. And then they start talking about Rio's post. Rio was explaining, first it was a repost, and then also he feels like all of us are in union as far as being minorities and all that. So he didn't see anything wrong with it. Again, black people, y'all get loud in regards to stuff that offends y'all. Some of y'all do. But you really did not see such a bad problem with what was said towards them. And Mother, you keep talking about three amigos, muchacho, whatever. But that's not right. And you think that it's okay to say all that, but you don't want nobody else outside of your race to say ninja. That's not cool. And I'm gonna stand on that, and I'm gonna stay on your neck about that until you change. But anyways, Rio said, I've apologized twice, da-da-da-da-da, and now this is my third time. What else do you want? But they have a problem because of how Donnie was treated. Donnie kept doubling down and then say he apologized, but he'll take it back. He'd give a little shoulder and take it right back. That's what Donnie was doing. We move on to Jet Jeffs. Jet Jeff, Glenn, and Mother, shockingly, comes to Jet's video taping. He's doing a cover of Kiss Me Through the Phone. I believe this is by Soulja Boy, I think. But anyways, I've heard the song and I love it. Anyways, they are styling Jet for this performance. They thought that Jet should have been more feminine, but he wanted to take on the masculine part of it, which I agree with them. When I hear your cadences and your enunciation of different words and all that stuff, Jet, I think you could have, but I think you were going for a different look for the videos. However, I still like the song. But I was very shocked that Glenn and Mother came. Apparently they are in a better place and shocked by that, So I'm glad because I really felt the way, and I did feel like the blacks were going to stay over here and the Mexicans were going to stay over there. And I don't like all that division. So I'm glad. I'm happy for that. And the last event is a 90s Freaknik. Everybody's supposed to come in their 90s gear. Did I see much 90s going on? No. I don't even know if most of them were born in the 90s. So it's just like, okay, yeah. Let's see. The host is late. And I guess the host is supposed to be, who's the host supposed to be? Oh. Well, the host is somebody that I've never known. I have not watched any other season of Chasing Dallas, but obviously he's a big deal. I promise I'm going to go back and watch the other seasons and all that good stuff. But he's late and all that good stuff. Jet talks with Rachel about Lamont. Rachel just says that's my man, my man, my man. So they got an open relationship. No, that's just my crush, is what Rachel is saying. So they're like, So we get the question answered a little bit later in regards to Lamone. Let's see. We find out that Rio and Zesty were not showing up because of the host. The host has not booked either one of them, and they felt some type of way, so they didn't show up to a day of taping of the show that you are currently on. That don't sit right with me, Rio and Zesty. Let's see. Okay, so Trey by Howard is 2 hours late, and of course, Mother had something to say about that. And rightfully so, especially if y'all late at every event, blah, 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 blah. So we see that there is some tension between Donnie and Trey. So then, if we start putting things on the table, what's up, Donnie? Because it looks like you try to beef with everyone that's bigger than you, as far as that's got a career or at least got a one-up on you. And that's only going to take you so far, sir. That's only going to take you so far. Because I was like, okay, so that's how you think that you're going to be successful in this game, and you're not. Donnie starts talking about, I guess, whatever type of beef he got with dude, because it started off with Jet Jeff and Donnie having some type of issue on social media. Trey jumped in, I guess, and said what he needed to say because of how Donnie was moving. But then he calls him a troop. I still don't understand from Donnie's perspective as to what's going on, but they still trying to make Jet this puppeteer. Or, yeah. So then Trey asks one of the producers, can he break the fourth wall? And that's when Trey was like, no, you were hopping in people's comments and all that, talking with producers, trying to get on this show. And you were, to me, doing it the wrong way. Y'all can call it hustling or whatever, cool. I'm not calling it that. It's just you got on the show by technicality. However, you are here, and it's up to you as to what you're going to do. And again, you're still trying to ride off of Jet. Because now you need that type of rap battle, this versus battle. And I don't understand why not. People love your personality, Donnie. And it doesn't seem like you are still that comfortable in your own skin to do what you do. I don't think there needs to be a battle. Again, you said that you need to work on your skills. Everybody needs to work on their skills. I think that you're not at the same, as I said before, the same level as Jet. So with Lamone, are you in an open or closed relationship? Lamone says it's closed. But he also says, at least more in his confessional, that, you know, me and my lady have an agreement. She knows everything that I'm doing. So then it is open. It just has restrictions, Lamone. At least to my interpretation. But if it's closed, it's closed. If it's open, it's open. Again, Rachel is saying that I played my part, I played my role. What does that mean? And normally if somebody is in a relationship, you back off. Of course, a lot of cheating does happen within the community, but it's just not even just singletary towards the community. But it seems like, it still looks like Rachel is trying to be an interloper in their relationship. And I think that Lamone has at least flirted with the girl. I think other things have happened. And I think it's getting caught up because I'm sure he didn't think that he was going to be on the same show as somebody that he was messing with. Anyways, they tell how they felt about the season and then went into their confessionals and said basically their final farewell for the season and overall, I'm glad everything kind of came, at least at the end of the season, as more peaceful. I'm really happy for that because I'm quite sick of the type of divide that we were having. I still enjoyed the show, just to let you know that. It was just this cringe divide that I just was not liking whatsoever. I didn't like how a lot of the fans were, y'all really problematic fans, I'm sorry. As to how you decided that you were going to treat Jet, Rio, and Zesty. Because y'all said a lot of problematic stuff that I saw. But yeah, I enjoyed the season. And as for now, I'm still going to be supporting the Chasing Reality series. I think next up is the therapy season series, and I think LA is coming up, or Atlanta. I forgot which one was announced in the chat last night. But anyways, Real and Zesty. I think that some were trying to push you out, but I think you guys also played into that and decided that you wanted to kind of be on the out. I don't know if you're coming back next season. However, I think you got to switch it up. That's just on me. I think you played into the narrative, and now you're outcast, and you didn't have to be outcast at this point. That's all I do have. Y'all leave your comments below. Hopefully I explained everything well, but I was just trying to make sure I got everything that was said. Until the next one, peace.